Hello, welcome to this Understanding React series. Welcome to episode 4. This episode is going to be about what does render actually return. In this class component, React component, we have a render which returns a div, returns HTML. So what is this actually? Let's have a look. So let's do an experiment. Const element is equal to a paragraph. Hello world. And then let's console.log element. Control S. So we have an object. Type of symbol React element, key props, children, hello world. So bottom line, it's a JavaScript object. So let's experiment a bit more. Let's id equals title. So our h1, the h1 our h1 we are rendering has an id title, so we can grab it and then compare it. So now let's const element is this paragraph, and then console.log React element, and then let me type of, and then element is instance of element. Let me copy paste there. Now we're gonna render the app. Now below this, let me, because I am too lazy to type. So this is not the React element, this is gonna be DOM element. First, let's grab it, right? Const DOM element is equal to document dot get element by ID, and then let's get the title. So we console log DOM element, type of DOM element, and then let's ask if DOM element is an instance of an HTML element. Let's run this. So I am guessing this is trying to get the DOM element because it's a null before it exists, before this puts it in there. So maybe if I just do an h1 over here, sorry, an h1 over here saying hello from here, and give that the title. Let me save. There we go. Now we got something. So that was what was going on. So now I can put them this side by side. I had placed this below the root render, so I was hoping to catch that, but no, this is easier. Just add an H1 here on the top, and then we grab that DOM element by ID title, and then so the element we created like this, be hello world, it's also an object, and it's this React element, and it is not an instance of an HTML element. And the DOM element we grabbed, it's also an object here. It also has a whole bunch of parameters or attributes, or I don't know what they're called. Anyways, it's also an object, but this one is an instance of an HTML element. So we grab an element from the DOM, and it is converted to an object, to this object, which has all these. Let me attributes ID length, child nodes, text, child nodes list. Well, I see the text here in the data. Node value. Text content. This is what we changed. Remember when we set text content to something else, we changed this, no? All right. Let's move on. So back to this. How is this? What's going on here then? We just type some what appears to be HTML in a JavaScript inside a script, which is JavaScript. And this inside a P returns an object and assigns it to element. So what's going on here? What is this possible? So it has to do with this type text Babel. This Babel thing, if I remove that and save there, so I have an uncaught syntax error, unexpected token at line 16. From this one, it doesn't know how to return this deep thing. So this Babel, we specified that this inside here is Babel. And we bring in the data here, the code here. So Babel transforms it into regular JavaScript. So this syntax right here gets converted to something like this. Const other element P hello, and then we can console.log the other element. And then just let me get rid of the get rid of this hello from here line. So here, the React element, and then this other one is the children hello. Well, we also passed a hello. Here, this one is hello world, and this one is the hello. So as you can see, they are the same. They are the same thing. Type of symbol React element. So it's the same object. So this line got translated into this line. Well, except here for the world. Now they are both objects that are the same. So this got translated into this with this Babel. So now let's get rid of both of these and do a nested version. Element, and then just like we did here. Well, let's copy this. And let's now console.log our element. And here we go. All this time, this thing has been, well, this thing has been the same object, but now on the props, it has the children is an array with two things, and each one of those two things in the array is another object. The first one type is div, and then the one inside this other object is type h1, and this one has the understanding React episode 4 thingy. So it's a tree. So by hand, it would have been like this. React dot create element, and then the type. The parent one is a div, right? Div. And then null. These are props passed in. And then the last thing is an array of, well, the type and the props, and then whatever's left turns it into an array. React dot create element, and then here we create the p, and then I'm just gonna say hello from the React create thing. Too much. Right. And then let me copy paste this because I am lazy to type. And then hello again. So we created the element, and but we never const the React element is equal to this. So now there we go. Type of React element, type div, key null, and then props. I don't know. Props and array. The props is an object that contains children, and the children keyword, the key has a value of an array of 2. And the children type h1, type h2. And on the one we React created, it's the same type of, but the array of 2, and then children, and then we did paragraph. Hello from the React. Hello again. So having done this, gets translated by Babel to this. So let me erase the element created by Babel. And then now that we know how React creates its objects, or is it an element? No, but it will be on the DOM, right? I don't know. So now let's create our own function. Create my element, and then we see we need a type. We need props, which we keep passing null, and then the rest turn into an array. And this is the 3 dots syntax. And name that array children. So we return an object with key value pair type, what we bring in as type, props, and then deconstruct props. But since we've been passing null, this is going to be null anyways. And then children is going to be an array of the rest of the things we passed. In this case, it was 2 things. If we had 3, well, we get 3. Children. Like this. Well, seems to work. Now let's use it. Const my element is equal to, how did we name it? Create my element, and then we are going to pass, well, just like in the let's pass the same things, but instead of this, we create my element, and then create my element. Hello from my element. Hello again. Is this syntax correct? My element. There we go. So this is the React element, curly brackets of the object, and then type of, I don't know what, the type, this extra thing, I don't know what it's for. It's a React thing, I guess. You search for it. Put it in the comments if you like. Then type div, key null, ref null, and then props. So the props are the children with 0. There it is, hello from the React. And then on Mar, it's simple little object. Type div, props, children, array of 2. Type div. Props, children, array of 1. Hello from the element, and on the other, hello again. Was this correct? I don't know. All right, so I hope this was not too confusing. So now let me erase this whole thing and what else? This. So we are back at we are still rendering these two things, which we are returning, right? This div. So we have this root.render and it renders this app component, which returns that object. We have been seeing this React object. So let's see if we const, but now it's gonna be equal to this. Just out of curiosity, element, well, appears to be rendering the same. Great, no? So then what is this element? Console.log element. Null ref type F. Type of symbol React element. Let's do this. Console.log element.type. App. So here goes more or less. So const element app, this creates a React element of type app, and here we also console.log it, type app, which is a JavaScript object describing what React should render. So when we pass that object, this one, we pass this whole thing to the root.render, and the root is a thing created by the React DOM. React DOM created a create root. So in the where? In this div. So when we pass that object to the .render, the component calls its render method, this one, and gets another React element tree from the JSX return, gets another one of these. So this .render, it's what gets from the element, from this element, gets the render, gets the JSX from the return value of the render. And then React uses that description to create and update the DOM. In this case, it's these two lines, no? So this creating objects with elements, we can create 1,000 of them and nothing happens, right? This render is what does the job of actually rendering them. And if we add another thing, added another thing, and then when it re-renders, well, this time we saved, so it did the whole thing. But if this were on a state that when we saw and we change a part, so every time this render element renders the app, will it blink and re-render the whole page? So no, it doesn't. It is smart about it. So maybe on the next video now we'll get into how it does that. Right. So that will be it for this one. Hope this was not too confusing. For me it is a bit, but let's keep going anyways. So thanks a lot for watching. See you on the next one.